WCIA3 News presents Remarkable Women of Central Illinois.
Well, they are mothers, wives, daughters, grandmothers, aunts, and sisters.
Every woman is remarkable in some way, and tonight we are celebrating some of the remarkable women of Central Illinois. Over the next half hour, we will be introducing you to women who are making a difference in their community. Women like Tammy Williams, who gives her time to ensure our fallen heroes are honored by decorating their graves. And Ronnie Winston, she has served our nation in the Air Force and now serves her community as a volunteer for several charities in Champaign-Urbana. Dr. Mary Crosston has a heart filled with compassion. She's a vet who nurses pets back to health, but she's also an advocate for the arts, mental health, and medical equity. And a tragedy that shook all of us, the senseless killing of Champaign police officer Chris Oberheim. Of course, no one was impacted more than his wife, Amber.
How is it even fair that I have to be the one to break this news to my girls? How is it even fair that I have to be the one to just crush their hearts?
But Amber Oberheim hasn't retreated into despair. She's using her painful story to illuminate the importance of respecting and advocating for law enforcement officers in Illinois and beyond.
Amber attributes her healing to God, including the officers who have been champions in her husband's absence. Amber invited WCIA3's Marley Capper to sit down and talk through her experience. Amber says she's using her tragedy to help others.
Situation. And so that's what I feel like he's doing.
A knock on the door. Behind, an officer telling Amber that her husband, Officer Chris Oberheim, had been shot.
I remember just putting my hands on my knees and kind of bending over and just breathing because I thought I might topple over.
Shortly after heading to the hospital, she found out the neurosurgeon was unable to save him.
I was watching everyone around me feel and react, and I couldn't feel or react.
As messages flooded her inbox, telling her 4 daughters first was the priority.
Those 10 to 20 minutes after I told them what had happened were probably the most awful 10 to 20 minutes to have to listen to as a mother.
A few days later, still numb, Amber received hundreds more texts. This time, about a story WCIA3 did about her husband's killer.
So I didn't get nearly as angry about it as the rest of what felt like the world around me did.
And after prayer and consideration, she wondered, what would Chris do?
It's not just about Amber Oberheim having some massive forgiveness about a mistake that was made at the station. It's about Amber Oberheim realizing it's not about her and trusting God to make good out of the situation.
So, to facilitate the greatest impact, Amber decided to bring light to the realities officers faced every day on the job.
If this opportunity wasn't there, I don't think that our community and just Central Illinois as a whole would have had the same experience of how much people love our police officers.
And to give credit to the men and women who got her and her girls through their darkest days.
You know, showing up for my girls' Avery's high school graduation. You know, we're planning Hannah's wedding. I know that there are going to be officers who are going to be there to have their father-daughter dance. You know, because he can't be.
Amber's mission now? Advocating for police officers, advocating for police wives, being there for families who have also gone through the unthinkable, and finishing out the task God has set in front of her.
Amber says it's been incredibly difficult, but she's thankful for the way it happened because the community supported her in ways she never thought possible. She says she's witnessed the love for police grow even more than before. Still ahead, we'll take a deeper dive into Amber's foundation. That's the Peacemaker Project 703, and we'll explain how she's hoping the world views police.
Our next remarkable woman of Central Illinois is on a mission to make sure veterans are given the honor they deserve in their final resting place.
I try to make sure that, if I see somebody that needs help, we do that all the time.
Tammy Williams serves others to give back to her community, but also to honor a late friend. She spends hours at the National Cemetery in Danville as part of the Wreaths Across America program. We go back to our Marley Capper and this remarkable woman's ambitious goal.
I don't know what he'd say, but he'd know that I missed him. Best friends.
Tammy Williams unexpectedly lost her best friend in October of 2012.
The day before, we had texted chili pictures. He had made zero chili, I made regular chili. And the next day, my husband sent me a text and said, hey, I think Melky passed. And I was like, oh, I can't imagine. I just talked to him yesterday.
And after going to Facebook, she found out Kirk Melton, who she called Melky, died in a car accident.
Oh, Melky, you're doing it again. I just, whew. It was rough. He got me through a really difficult time in my life.
And just like that, Tammy took on what she calls her new full-time job, organizing and placing wreaths at the graves of our nation's heroes with Wreaths Across America.
Nobody works harder.
Not only was Melky a veteran, but Tammy's husband, Keith Williams, also served in the Army.
It's a very humbling experience.
The Williams say Melky's mission was to help veterans in any way he could, and now she gets to honor his legacy.
It's her way of serving, honoring, because without the sacrifices that these men and women made, we wouldn't have the freedoms.
Yuck.
And letting the families know we still think of them, especially at Christmas time.
Tammy works the entire year to raise money and buy the wreaths.
Our best year was about halfway full of 5,000 wreaths.
And then she places them at each gravesite, hoping to cover at least 12,000 headstones, honoring her best friend.
We are just getting started, introducing you to a few of the most remarkable women in Central Illinois.
And up next, a woman who's hoping her service to others will impact future generations.
As a community, if we all don't take part in its growth and development, then there won't be anything to pass on to our children.
She served her country on the other side of the world. Now she's serving her community in the Champaign-Urbana area. We'll introduce Ronnie Turner Winston when we come back.
Today. Remarkable Women of Central Illinois continues now.
If they're not seeing us do those type of things, then they don't do those type of things, which then leaves the door open to do things they have no business doing.
She served her country in the Air Force. Now she's serving her community. Ronnie Winston is actively involved in at least 5 organizations across Champaign-Urbana.
But she doesn't just volunteer to stay busy. She believes she's setting the tone for younger generations. Again, our Marley Capper reports.
Service
I did a short 6-month deployment during Desert Storm.
is something more than just a word to Ronnie Winston Turner.
That was probably the hard part, was just the adjustment of this is happening and we are going to war.
After Ronnie retired from the Air Force, she felt like a piece of her was missing.
Good morning, King School family. I get this postcard in the mail and it says, do you miss the camaraderie of your military service? And I'm like, I do, right?
So she did what she knew best, serving. This time with the American Legion in Champaign.
That's part of the reason why I continue to work so hard, is that so that I'm doing my part.
So Ronnie got more involved, first by joining the VFW, and then the Champaign County NAACP, then the National Council for Negro Women, then the Champaign County Black Chamber of Commerce. And if that wasn't enough, the Urbana School District PTA.
Good morning, Urbana parents.
And the choir vice president for her church.
As a community, if we all don't take part in its growth and development, then there won't be anything to pass on to our children.
Ronnie recognizes that there's been an uptick in violence across Champaign-Urbana.
It's going to take years of work probably to overturn where we've gotten.
But she believes healing the damage done all goes back to service.
There has always been a select group of Americans willing to fight and possibly die for a cause greater than self-preservation.
It does go back to volunteerism and service.
Which is why she hopes to lead by example in her community.
Turner Winston was stationed at Chanute Air Force Base during the Rantoul Educational Center's 1993 closure. After that, she worked at Parkland College for about 8 years and then moved over to the U of I, where she has managed the residence hall desk operations for almost 6 years.
Raising a family is challenging. Add working full-time, putting herself through a bachelor's program, and completing a master's nurse practitioner program. It takes an amazing effort and energy to get it all done, but that's exactly what this wife and mother has accomplished at this point. Mimi Murphy introduces a remarkable woman up the road in Rockford.
After 33 years of marriage, David Bailing is used to his wife Becky's cell phone ringing at all hours.
The way we kind of make peace with it is knowing that it makes a difference. You know, those calls, the calls that she gets aren't trivial calls.
The wife and mother of 3 is a cardiovascular nurse practitioner. She works long hours at the hospital, and even when she's off, makes sure her patients and their relatives can reach her anytime.
Especially now with COVID, they can't come in. So, you know, I'm their eyes and their ears, and if I don't help them and let them know what's going on with their family member, you know, they sometimes don't get that information. So I have always given my number out. A lot of people don't, but I want them to know that I'm here for them if they need anything.
Dr. Thomas Hinkamp, director of cardiothoracic surgery at UW Health Swedish American, says he couldn't do what he does without Becky.
Becky's phenomenal. Every doctor in this hospital has her cell phone. Every patient has her cell phone. And so she's communicating with everybody at the same time. So you can imagine the amount of work that's involved.
That same dedication extends to her loved ones. Becky's husband calls her the heart and soul of their family.
She's the only person I know that can work a 60-hour week at the hospital right through Thanksgiving weekend and still entertain 40 people, you know, and cook a big meal here at our house.
In her nearly 30-year career, Becky has missed just 1 day of work.
She's not only nice, right, and honest, but she has an incredible amount of empathy.
David calls his wife a consummate caregiver and strong patient advocate.
If she's got a patient that's not doing well, she's not doing well. A lot of nights, a lot of late nights up on the phone, you know, trying to sort things out for a patient. She treats her patients like she does family.
David didn't tell Becky he nominated her for our Remarkable Women campaign because he says she wouldn't want the recognition. And he was right.
Well, mad at first, because this is not my thing. It's not. I'm not one to, you know, I think every woman is remarkable. I do.
Well, what happens when you cross a love for animals, a passion for the arts, and a mission to improve healthcare?
You get our next remarkable woman, Dr. Mary Crosston Strang. We'll also introduce you to a Central Illinois woman who's working to end the social stigma surrounding epilepsy.
When you know that you're called to do something, you just have to keep going, no matter what.
How an unexpected diagnosis led to a new purpose in life for this remarkable woman.
Today. Remarkable Women of Central Illinois continues now.
Well, I like science, obviously, and I like problem solving. And to me, medicine is problem solving. Hey, sugar, it's okay.
Aside from saving animals, an Urbana veterinarian is doing her part to support the fine arts, mental health, and medical equity. Dr. Mary Crosston Strang runs All Creatures Animal Hospital in Urbana.
Well, that's just a small part of her resume. She's also active in supporting the arts and medical access. As Marley Capper discovered, she's also an advocate for mental health.
Yeah, that's where the food was.
Dr. Mary Crosston Strang is more than a veterinarian.
They're being monitored by a nurse in the hospital.
She's a mother and a wife to Phil Strang.
What I tell people is Mary's job is to take care of all the dogs and cats in the world, and my job is to take care of her.
Can you get food for her, for Mary?
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, our industry is plagued with having a relatively high suicide rate compared to other professions right now.
She's also a mental health advocate for her employees.
It's important that we are open to making sure their mental health is taken care of, and we recognize that.
Mary also supports the arts.
I mean, I'm involved in local theater, community theater. I'm on the board for Station Theater.
At the start of the pandemic, Mary wasn't sure if they would still be open.
The state deemed us essential services, so we never had to close.
But wanted to keep her workers employed, so she had them repaint the hospital.
I'm a sucker for orange cats. All the art that we have is from local artists.
And on top of all that, Mary pushes for more equity in STEM.
Education as much as anything else. So I graduated from vet school here in 1990. Mine was the first veterinary class where there were more women than men.
She says it's hard work.
Hey, sugar, it's okay.
But being able to help man's best friend every day
Come here.
is worth the blood, sweat, and tears to become a doctor.
She's very pretty.
An unexpected diagnosis at the doctor's office for one Central Illinois woman spurred her on to a life of advocacy. Rachel Hearn's mission is to educate the community and support people with epilepsy. Shabam Danash has her story.
Rachel Hearn has made it her mission to spread awareness and education about epilepsy.
When you know that you're called to do something, you just have to keep going, no matter what.
After being diagnosed with complex partial temporal lobe epilepsy in 2006, Hearn says she quickly found out there is a lack of resources in Peoria.
People still have that stigma of what epilepsy is, but there are over 40 types of seizures.
Dr. Sunoki Reed says Hearn has turned lemons into lemonade by becoming an advocate for the epilepsy community.
Once she started seeing that there were a lot of stigma with her diagnosis and a lot of miseducation out there, she decided, oh, I'll take this up as a cause.
Elizabeth Ayala says while Hearn has been a mentor to her for more than 6 years, she's also a grandmother to her 2 children.
She has been a motivation for me to become better, to go to college, to do so much, and she's been, she's done things for me that no other person has, reached out previously to be able to do.
Hearn says her biggest priority right now is restoring funding to the city's sole epilepsy support group, where she served as an outreach coordinator.
I have put in definitely hours and hours of work. I will continue to do so. I will continue to spread my knowledge, keep working hard.
She says epilepsy is the 4th most common neurological condition in the United States.
Now, earlier in our special, we shared the story of Amber Oberheim overcoming the devastating loss of her husband, Champaign police officer Chris Oberheim.
And she's using that painful experience to inspire change.
I do believe that without some degree of law and order and respect for authority, our great country is going to suffer.
Up next, a closer look at Peacemaker Project 703 and the impact it's having on this community and beyond.
Remarkable Women of Central Illinois continues now.
If we could return some sort of respect to authority and our law enforcement officers, that would be
my ultimate goal.
After losing her husband in the line of duty, Amber Oberheim has made it her mission to change the way the world sees police officers. It's been nearly 11 months since Officer Chris Oberheim was shot and killed while responding to a domestic disturbance call.
And shortly after, his widow started the Peacemaker Project 703 to raise awareness about the everyday issues officers face. WCI3's Marley Capper shows us the impact those efforts are having.
After losing her husband, Amber Oberheim knew she wanted to use her story for good.
Our foundation vision is to promote the positive regard and respect for law enforcement.
Officer Chris Oberheim's badge number was 703, and his favorite Bible verse, Matthew 5:9, which talks about peacemakers.
I do believe that without some degree of law and order and respect for authority, our great country is going to suffer.
So after some thought and prayers, the Peacemaker Project 703 was born. Since then, they've organized events, including an honor parade for first responders.
So that the people in our community and surrounding communities could come out and support those folks and let them know just how much we love and respect what they do.
They have acquired a police therapy dog for officers dealing with trauma or other emotions brought on by the job.
And his name is Obi.
They've even engaged state lawmakers to push harsher penalties for those who commit crimes against officers.
All right, you've been hearing her voice this entire half hour. Marley Capper is now with us. You got to share these stories. What a great assignment.
It was truly an honor. I think there's a difference between somebody being nominated to share their story, but then actually having to sit with someone they don't know and tell their story. So it was truly an honor to just sit with them and have them trust me and be vulnerable and emotional and just kind of share, their life story and what they're been through and what makes them so remarkable.
Is there anything in particular that really stuck out?
Yeah, I think when I sat with Amber Oberheim, you could just really feel that emotion in the room. You could hear it in the interviews. And then when I was with Tammy Williams at the gravesite, seeing her place down pennies and just doing some rituals she does at her best friend's gravesite, it was really emotional to kind of see her go through that. And so again, it was just an honor to be able to watch that and facilitate that storytelling of, these women have really remarkable stories and it needs to be told.
And listening to all of their accomplishments exhausted me. Just hearing everything that they are doing with their lives. We need these women.
Right. So many amazing things, like you said. The list goes on for all of them. So it was definitely a lot to take in, but very happy that I got to share that and tell everybody how great they are.
All right, Marley, thank you so much. And that'll do it for our Remarkable Women special.
We hope to see you at 10 o'clock. Have a good night.
Good night.